The examples of the metaverse as they exist right now are one of two things. And they're very easy to dismiss as they exist right now. There are kids' gaming experience, or they are kind of sci-fi-ish, right? And they're kind of, okay, sure, right? We're going to be doing this weird virtual reality interaction thing. To understand what we need to do as small business, small, medium, and frankly large business owners as well, and where this might be going, I actually want to do what I often like to do, which is look back and talk a little bit about history, right? So you might hear this called a Web 3.0 or even a Web 4.0 kind of movement. What they mean by that, if you think about how long the internet's been around, it's actually a remarkably short period of time. Web 1.0 was the idea of static web pages. The idea, and we're talking, early 90s, the idea that you could go and access information. And it was a one-way street, right? There was nothing for me in the 90s to do on those web pages. I could go read what had been posted by somebody else. That was it. That was the extent of the interaction, right? Web 2.0, again, about a decade later for context. So when we think about it that way, it was Web 2.0 was coined in the late 90s, really started to take effect early 2000s. Became more interactive, right? Our websites became things we could do, whether early e-commerce, transactional. It became social media, which really, when we talk about going online now, we talk about social media. I would wager dollars to donuts that none of us open a browser first thing in the morning on our phone. That's not the first thing we open. We open one of the apps through which we access the internet, and that's Web 2.0. It became much more interactive, much more social was the idea. Web 3.0, or potentially 4.0, if you really want to get it into it. I mean, 3.0 is the idea of the continuing evolution of Web 2.0. So using the stuff that was in Web 2.0 to build new toys is 3.0. The metaverse is our next step, is our next phase and evolution of the internet. And as much as, again, I know it sounds like how far in the future could this possibly be, I want to talk about the history of some of the things that we're currently using. So if you currently use Facebook, for context, Facebook was started mid-2000s. Started in the mid-2000s. Launched. Mark Zuckerberg created it mid-2000s. We are 2021, and Facebook during that time has not only come to take over the world, so to speak, right? I mean, and everybody has it. It's the most popular social media network out there. It's actually, and I hear everyone say it all the time, it's aging out, right? It's the place where mums and grandmas are hanging out now. So in 15 years, not only did it become the dominant platform, it has fallen from grace. Or at least we think it's fallen from grace in this regard, okay? In only 15 years. Instagram was 2010. 10 years ago, Instagram was created. 10 years ago. And it becomes the dominant platform. TikTok, which I know we think of as the kid dancing app, is growing faster than any of them. This is no longer a conversation about how far in the future or if, it's about when. And those timelines that used to exist where one day we will all go to work in hover cars and things like that, which really is just a way of saying it'll be so far in the future, I'll be long gone before I see it. I think we need to understand the metaverse is here, and it's going to come really, really quick. This is not a conversation about do I need to be on it? Listen, if you're in business right now and you will be out of business because you're going to be retired and hang it up in the next 5 years, you can probably ignore the metaverse or the idea of the metaverse. If you intend to be in business 10 years from now in any capacity, you need to understand what this is. You need to think about how you will interact with it. In the early 2000s, the idea of e-commerce and social media was dismissed so significantly that the big companies would give it to the young intern, right? I don't think it's something we need to waste our time on. let's give it to Sally, let's give it to Bill, let's give it to somebody to keep them busy. And those are now how we define how we interact online, because we now shop online and we now do all of our socializing online as well. The metaverse is here, it's coming. What does that mean? I can't tell you how I would build an online world for you at this point, right? But it means that you will replace your websites with online worlds. You will learn to interact in that way. Ralph Lauren is already creating fashion for avatars in the metaverse. There are companies that are on the leading edge of this. It's something that we really need to pay attention to, and that you can't afford to just dismiss, because this is Web 3.0. This is where we're going. This is the next evolution. This is not a new app. This is going to change the way we interact.